Satan wants you to give in, to cave in to the heat. Cave in. So watch this. You say, well, if you just leave it there, Lord, you're not making my faith feel any better. I'm not getting more wood-booters about this. I thought God was going to deliver it. Here I am. I thought God was going to do this, 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 and this. And none of it happened. It's so hot I can hardly breathe. Well, I'm glad that it doesn't stop there. The Bible says, see, my friend, that others recognize that they're going to sit and recognize this. Watch this. These three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound in the midst of the burning fire furnace. I heard an NFL player one time, a black NFL player was talking about him. He said, Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro. Okay, that's not politically correct. I'm sorry. All right. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did we not cast three men bound in the midst of the fire? And they answered and said to the king, O true, O king. And he answered and said, lo, I see four men. Come on now. I see four men loose. Well, come on. Yeah. I see four men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Wow. Wow. We sang it a couple weeks ago. Sometimes when we're in the fire, not sometimes when we're in the fire, but sometimes we go in the fire. And when we go in the fire, He walks through the fire with us. Every time I hear that song, every time we ride down the road, every time I hear that song, it just brings tears to my eyes. I think about the people I know that are in the fire. I think about the fires I get in. You know, they had me mic yesterday at a wedding. And I remember the last time I was mic'd, not the last time, but years ago I was mic'd at a wedding. And the young lady, I told her, it was in Irwin, North Carolina, the biggest church in Irwin. And there was like, I don't know how many churches were there. And I was her pastor, the other guy was a minister, and his pastor was there. We were doing the ceremony. And her pastor was very staunch and stiff and never smiled. I think he thought it was going to crack his face if he smiled. And so I said, Lord, I believe you put me here this time to make him smile. That's my assignment. And so I cut up, and finally he started smiling. Not only did he smile, he started laughing. And so in the ceremony, we've got mics, and the man says, put them on, the mics are hot. I said, okay. So we're going along, and I'd already told her in rehearsal, when you go to the unity candle, just go. Put your hand behind it, go. That's it. She don't block the rest of the candles. Just the one you use, go. She said, okay, I got it. We practiced it. Well, she goes and does a unity candle. She comes back and looks at us. Me and her pastor, his pastor, we're standing side by side. And she's looking at me. She's got a big black hole in her veil. Black circle. Because she went in, and when she took the candle, instead of going, she went. And so she sucked it through her veil and then blew it out, blew the fire out. And so she's standing with a big black circle in her veil. And I looked over at the other pastor and said, remember now, I thought my job was to get him to laugh, right? And get him to break up. I said, you can tell she rented that from a redneck bridal shop. Why this song's going on? And he said, why? I said, because the bride before her was smoking a Marlboro when she said her vows. And it hit me. I had a hot mic. And I looked out, and there's people going. And so for the rest of the ceremony, I was like this. And in the ceremony, the sound man came over and said, you didn't happen to hear. He said, right there, Brown Shot, that was hilarious. I said, well, did everybody hear? He said, no, I stopped it before you got to the punchline. Thank you, could have stopped it when I started. So yesterday, I had this big old mic on at Triumph Palace, and so I wrote, Linton said, how's it going? I wrote to her, I said, well, I was once burnt, once learned. I'm not going to say anything about a redneck bridal shop while I'm wearing this microphone. I said, well, maybe twice burnt, maybe 3 times burnt, maybe 3rd-degree burn several times. She laughed and says, you'll never learn. Sometimes God will allow the fire not to destroy you, but God will allow Satan to test you so you can listen. The trial of your faith, which is more precious than gold, will prove you powerful in God's eyes. Because when you come out, you're going to be shining. When they came out, you couldn't smell the fire on them. Their hands were loosed. Everything. And you know what? I love this. There was a song. Tim Hill. Tim Hill's a Church of God minister. He wrote the song, He's Still in the Fire. Remember that song? It was #1 song back in the early 80s, I think it was, or no, early 90s. He's still in the fire, and he's walking through the flames. He'll be there to help you when you call upon His name. But they said that they started talking about the song, and the song says the guy's asking his mama, says, Mama, I see there was 3 men went in the fire. When they're in there, they saw 4, but 3 only came out. Where's the 4th man? He said, he's there when you go through the fire. Your commitment gets you there. Your courage keeps you there. God's power protects you while you do it all. Let's all stand. Y'all guys going to play something.